Do you hide yourself away when showing up for your business on social media? You're spending a lot of time on Canva creating cute graphics with quotes on them. You make sure to utilize photos of yourself as little as possible, and you definitely, without a doubt, will not show up on Reels and hate doing things like Facebook Live. You're disappointed by how slowly your platforms are growing, and you have no idea how to find followers who will actually invest in your services. You've probably turned to Google for help with hashtags or content creation, and you're consistently overwhelmed by the thought that nobody gives a crap about what you have to say. You feel like you're giving it your all, but your all never feels good enough. If this sounds familiar, if that's you, this episode is 100% made for you. Welcome to the Social Media Podcast. I'm your host, Mallory Klum, a digital marketing strategist and coach, group fitness instructor, ADHD thriver, and the founder of the Social Media Class. My mission is a simple one: to help you redefine your relationship with social media marketing and understand how to truly define success. I want to kick today's episode off with a personal story because for 8 years, I have worked full-time with nonprofits and entrepreneurs to level up their social media marketing, earn millions, and gain thousands of followers. But I never placed an emphasis on growing my own personal accounts. So when I began a business in June of 2021, I essentially started with a blank canvas. The largest following that I had was on TikTok. It was about 12K followers, and I still have the account. I still use it. It's my main one. But what happened was I was diagnosed with ADHD in February of 2021, and I began sharing my experiences and how I was learning that these little quirks that I was always told made me weird were actually a result of my ADHD and not necessarily having this weird, obscure personality. So I did what I would tell my clients to do. I started a strategy, began a new Instagram to focus on, and I researched content creators because honestly, the best thing you can do is keep up to date on what your competition is doing. At one point, I stumbled on the account of a 20-something-year-old girl who was promoting her social media course in a sports bra and her yoga pants. And I want to emphasize, there's nothing wrong with this. But it did hit hard, because seeing the positive comments reminded me of a post that I had previously made where I shared my journey as a fitness instructor who is considered plus size because I'm 195 pounds. I was made to feel less than worthy for my 7 certifications then. I now hold 10. One man asked if I understood and then proceeded to explain to me calorie deficit. Another told me I inspired people by inspiring them to go buy Little Debbie's. I learned a long time ago to brush these kind of comments off, but I couldn't help imagine what they'd be if I had made the same video. Now, I'm not going to tell you that stepping into a new situation is easy. It takes time, and it takes building your confidence. But there is good news. And that good news is that you are your own personal power, and you are resilient. You are absolutely capable of rising to a brand new challenge. And do you want to know how I know that without even knowing who you are right now in this moment? You did the number one thing that most people can't find the courage to do. You invested into yourself. You said, I am going to start a business. You laid it out and you started it. Most people don't do what you have done. So to begin, I want to preface this by saying I hate saying it. I did not want to write it, but it has to come out. We have to talk about mindset because I have experienced 2 mental blocks consistently when I am working with clients. The first one is that they are way too old to show up and have anybody care about what they have to say. I'm sorry, it's a load of crap. I'm just going to say it. If you truly felt that way, you would not have established your business at any point. People need to hear you. Now, here's the difference. People need to hear you, but you have to actively find those people. Not everyone's going to want to hear you, and I'll get a bit more into that in point number 2. The second thing that I hear is, if I can lose 20 more pounds, I will feel confident enough to show up on camera. I always laugh when people say the camera adds 5 pounds, because I have been on television, I have been on Facebook Lives, I've been on Instagram Reels, and I'm here to tell you 155 pounds I have experience going on camera. 220 pounds I have experience going on camera. Both times I looked at myself and said, holy crap, I look like a blob. I was so negative with myself because that is what we do. We will never be good enough in our own minds unless we start owning our mindset and hearing those thoughts and turning them into positive reactions to who we are. Instead of thinking, I am too fat to do this, I am too ugly to do this, I am too old to do this, whatever you feel like. Number 1, you are not as bad as you think you are. Number 2, tell yourself, I have more courage than most people do in this world, and I have lived through the worst days of my life. I can live through this one tiny moment. It's not the worst day of my life. I have survived way worse. Number 2, I'm going to tell it to you straight. Stop being so critical of yourself because you are not so special that you're never going to make a mistake. And I don't mean to sound like a butthead saying that. But you have to realize that even the most professional people in the world are making mistakes. There was a TikTok reel today that talked about going viral, and the video that went viral had a grammatical error in it. And this girl has posted multiple reels that have gained very little traction. So of course the one with the typo in it was the one that went viral. Everything else was perfect. None of those worked. And that's how Instagram works. That's how Facebook works. That's how TikTok works. You can have the best idea in the world and show up, and for whatever reason that day, it doesn't gain traction. The next day you could come on, you can post something that is insignificant, you don't feel like it's good enough, and it goes viral. That's how the internet works. You don't get to choose what takes off and what doesn't. What you do get to choose is the ability to release perfectionism and give yourself the opportunity to show up to see what could happen. And the last one, the third one, is one of the most important things that I can convey to you. I tell myself this one all the time. You don't like every single person in this world. If you don't like every single person in this world, how can you expect every other person to like you? You can't. They won't. There are going to be people who leave hateful comments. There are going to be people who lash out. You have 3 options when someone expresses a dislike for you, especially on the internet. Delete them, block them, I don't care. Remove them from your life. Ignore it and continue doing what you do because you are your power, or respond to it and feed the fire with hatred. Because what happens is when we respond to negative comments, we feed a fire that is fueled by hatred. That person lives in their own unhappiness. You're not going to fix it. They need more help than you can provide them. Do not give them the time of day. Don't allow those people to be the reason you don't show up. Because what's going to happen when you're 90 years old, you can either sit in that rocking chair and you can look back at your life and you can say, I did it. I never left anything to chance. I didn't allow the stupid, small, insignificant things to hold me back. And I thrived and I survived and I learned what works and what doesn't. Or you can be that 90-year-old woman sitting in the rocking chair, questioning what could have been. Either way, you're going to get there. There's no way you're not going to get older. You're not going to have experiences. But how you respond and how you show up is your power, because you have the capacity to write your own story. Before I say farewell and thank you for joining me, I want to issue a challenge to you, and that is to go to my Instagram account and find the reel on how you can make a reel in under 5 minutes. If you've never made one before, I promise you, you do not have to be a super techie person to do this. I will give you the steps, I will give you the song, I will give you the idea. All you have to do is create it and add your text. I promise you, you can absolutely do it. You can absolutely show up. My username is Mallory, Mallorie, Clum, Cloum. That's at Mallory Clum. Just go on Instagram, find it, and if you do rise to the challenge, please tag me. I want to see and celebrate what you've created, because no matter how good you think it is or how bad you think it is, the fact that you are showing up is amazing, and that deserves to be celebrated. I want to thank you for listening to this episode of the Social Media Podcast. I know that it was not my traditional kind of anti-algorithm talk, but anti-algorithm is built into there without having to say it. If you're not registered for the social media class, please take a second to go to my website, MalloryClum.com, and get yourself in. We're launching in August, but right now when you enroll, you get so many bonuses through the month of July that it pays for itself tenfold. I'm talking hashtag strategies, Canva templates, support. You please feel free to message me on Instagram, email me. If you're in the class, I am happy to answer a question for you. My number one motto in life is that together we thrive. Together we can do this. And inside the social media class, we are going to accomplish so much. I'm going to help you create a strategy. You're going to gain confidence, but most importantly, I will hold you accountable with daily challenges and opportunities to win amazing prizes. And you're going to have fun. Enroll today. It's less than $100 for the entire month of August. You get live classes, you get pre-recorded classes, the whole shebang. It's going to be a good time. Until next time, thank you for joining, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Do you hide yourself away when showing